I'm an accountant.
I wish I was an accountant. It'd be so useful when it came to taxes.
Probably. And, you know, in general financial decisions and such.
I have great financial decisions.
Oh, I totally believe that.
This is my sister.
Hi.
So, her and I, for a really long time, have been talking about Disneyland, and with the new edition of Epic Universe, we have been talking a lot about that too. And she just went there.
Just got back from Epic Universe previews. So, yeah.
Previews?
Yeah, so Epic Universe isn't officially open yet. They've limited the capacity to about 40% and are doing previews for some of the general public, but also just mostly like media influencers still, and giving people a chance to go through the park before it's at full capacity.
You're none of those. How did you get it?
I am the general public. I was going to Florida, and my friends and I we were really wanting to go, but the dates weren't going to match up. And then I happened upon some random general public tickets. They were very limited, but I texted my friends and said, if you want this, go for it, but I'm buying these, so if you're coming, we're going.
Interesting. Okay, so you've now been there, and
Yes.
you lived in Florida for a little while, and
Yeah.
went to, what's the one called in Florida that's Disney?
Disney World.
That one. Yeah, you went to Disney World a lot.
Yes.
And so I just got back from Disneyland, and so I'm kind of curious about this comparison. Like, is Disney cooked? Are they in trouble with this new land coming out? Like, what do you think?
As far as like theme parks go, Epic Universe is definitely blowing Disney out of the water as far as the American parks right now.
Okay.
Epic Universe, as far as immersion into the different lands, as well as just the level of attractions, is pretty insane. It's pretty incredible how well they've gone through and done these different lands or universes in this park, and then taken that and just, I mean, I was mind blown. And this comes from someone who, again, I went to Disney for at least 2 times a week for at least 5 months. So
yeah, I feel like that makes you qualified.
Yeah.
She keeps asking, am I qualified? But yes.
qualified to talk about this?
You're just about as qualified as any of the rest of us. So, like, what about it makes you feel like they're doing such a better job than Disney?
it's hard to say better in a way because this is so brand new. One of the problems with Disney right now is a lot of things in their parks are starting to get really run down. Or they're running off of a lot of what I call nostalgia factor in their parks.
Like, explain that so that...
So, nostalgia factor is, like, we hear these terms Disney adults. All these people who go to Disney because they grew up on Disney, because these are the films they love. While Disney has those classics that are never gonna go out of style, I mean, the Disney princesses, every little girl is always gonna love those, you know?
Pose. Hello? Anyway, so the Disney adults...
Yes. They go to the parks and they ride these attractions because they love these attractions. They've fallen in love with them. It's nostalgic for them to go on these old rides.
It's like what they grew up on.
It's what they grew up on.
Like the shows they grew up on, and like now they have adult money.
And they spend it at the parks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm not... Whoa, it just zoomed in on me. Okay, anyway, so there's these people who go to the Disney parks and they ride these rides, no matter how old or run down they are, because they love these rides, they grew up on them.
Right.
Whereas Epic Universe, their lands are based off these classic movies that have this nostalgia factor to them, but they've given them this brand new element, this brand new twist. These rides are with the current generation.
So give an example of like maybe a specific one where they've done that.
All right, so one of the ones that I absolutely loved in Epic Universe was their Hiccups Wing Gliders ride.
Okay.
It is meant for kids, like kids can ride it. I think the height limit was 40 inches or something. So it is a kid's roller coaster. The comparison would be like Big Thunder Mountain, Space Mountain in Disneyland. But it blows those two rides out of the water. First off, it's a better roller coaster for like all ages as far as that goes. But it has the character animatronics in there. It has an appearance from Toothless and Hiccup that is pretty unreal. Like they're really good animatronics.
Wow.
And it's got the music on the ride. It's play and test drive as you're going. And it genuinely feels like you've stepped into the movie for a second. Like, you're flying in the movie, you're listening to the music, you've just seen the characters, you're on this ride, and it is epic. Like, I don't know who's ridden Space Mountain in Florida the last time, but if you didn't need to go to a chiropractor after, I mean, you've got a better body than me, so...
So, like, the immersion factor that they have in these places is just much better. Now, like, the thing that I keep seeing on social media about the Epic Universe that keeps blowing me away is a lot about, like, the characters. Like, the characters that are walking around are in character.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, was that like another thing that you felt like they're doing better than Disney, or what's your thoughts on that?
Especially in the Florida parks. Disneyland still does have some wandering characters.
They do.
You can run into some princesses or maybe Peter Pan if you're just walking around the parks. Florida doesn't do roaming characters. I believe they actually just started doing some roaming characters during their early entry hour, just for hotel guests.
Interesting.
But only in Magic Kingdom for like that first half hour. It's not even an hour, it's a half hour.
Okay.
Which I think is a response to Epic Universe's characters being such a success right now.
It's super viral. It's everywhere on TikTok.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
Who did I see? It's like Rough Nut and Tough Nut.
Rough Nut,
like walking around,
the twins,
like, oh, my
and
back hurts.
they are so in character, and they know their characters so well. Rough Nut and Tough Nut are walking around and they're making references, like they're pulling things from their characters in like the Netflix How to Train Your Dragon series.
That's impressive.
They're pulling lore from the movies. They're like, there's so many response, and fans are testing this. They're testing them.
They're trying to see,
I
like,
saw
how far you go.
someone brought a chicken up to the twins, because in the Netflix How to Train Your Dragon series, apparently they have this affirmation for this chicken. And the twins got so excited, started running around the park with this chicken. And that's amazing. That's amazing that they're responding to that. But also the characters are adding to this immersion factor, because all of a sudden you step into Burke, guys, you are in Burke.
Right.
Like you step in, you see the giant like Viking pillars, and then you start walking around. As a How to Train Your Dragon fan, I was convinced. I was like, I'm in Burke.
Amazing.
This is amazing.
That's amazing.
I want to live here. Where's my hut? Like,
Get me my Viking horns and I'm going in here.
and it's not just the twins. They've got Astrid walking around. I didn't get to see. They have a couple dragons that walk around apparently, but
They have some,
but
like,
I didn't
robotics and
get to
stuff.
see any of
Nah,
those.
that's a bummer.
But also Gobber, he's at his blacksmith stand, and
You want to fight dragons.
he's got the
He's got the
accent.
bed. Oh.
He's making fun of guests. And that's just amazing to me. It's amazing that you'll just put a character in a park and you'll trust that, one, the fans are going to respond well to that, and two, the character's going to stay in character. Like, that is a magical thing to do for your guests.
Okay, that is awesome. Like, I definitely feel like one of the things that Disney has been doing terribly wrong in their parks lately is immersion.
Yes.
Like, we've talked about this a million times, but Star Wars Land. I hate Star Wars Land. Black Spire Outpost can burn in a Sarlacc pit. Like, because this is exactly what you're saying is what you want. Like, when you go to these parks, you want to immerse yourself in this film that you've seen up on the screen. And it sounds like what they're doing with Burke is done exactly that. You're in Burke when you go there. Whereas, like, Star Wars Black Spire Outpost, what the freak is Black Spire Outpost? No one knows that. They try to create their own world, and it's like, dude, no one wanted that. Like, you didn't need to create your own story. Like, at very least, they could have at least made a Mandalorian episode that happened there, and that would have solved like 90% of the problem.
Do something to tie that into the fan base,
Yeah.
because while they were banking on people like that nostalgia factor though, but that's something that develops over time. I'm sure in a couple generations we'll see some people who are in love with Black Spire Outpost. It's
cool.
because they grew up. It'll be because they grew up on it.
Right, but like this that wasn't the last time
And
they did this.
no.
We went on Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Tiana's Bayou, yes.
This one really pissed me off because for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's not Tiana's. So my big problem with Tiana's Bayou Adventure is it's not the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I went there just recently with all of my kids and my wife and her whole family, and we were talking about it, and one of the most iconic songs from Tiana, from The Princess and the Frog, is that little bum 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 bum.
voodoo
Are
song.
you ready?
Yeah, you got the voodoo.
And we were sitting there thinking about it, and it's like, how epic would it have been if going up to the drop, you've got these voodoo guys on both sides of you, banging on these drums, just going bum bum, like, that would have been the most hype thing. But instead,
They came up with a new story.
they came up with a new story.
Yes.
With a Tiana that we don't know. Like, her character was different. She didn't look like she did in the movies.
Yep.
And they also did a bunch of stuff with 3D animation, which I don't even want to touch on that. But, like, the Mama Odie animatronic was really good and really cool. And I was like, that's great. But everything else about it, I was just kind of like, this isn't the Tiana I know.
This
And I
isn't.
love The Princess and the Frog. It's one of my favorite Disney movies that's come out recently, past 20 years. Like, again, I just feel like Disney has this thing, I feel like right now, where it's like they need to create something new with all the stuff they're putting into their parks, and it's like, you don't. You know? It has, the one time I will say it has worked for them is Mickey's Runaway Railroad. But I feel like that worked better because it felt like you were in one of those Mickey mini episodes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Tokyo Disney right now. They're doing their same with I believe Shanghai Disney. They're doing the Tangled ride, the Peter Pan ride and stuff. New rides, new technology.
New tech.
But they're doing the classic
It's
movies.
just the
They're
story.
doing the
It's
storyline.
just the story.
And like that's what your little kids want to go there for.
Let's go back to Epic Universe a little bit. I wanted to ask about the merch. Because this is one of the things that Disney does well. Stop doing that!
So I'll be honest, I was trying to save money this trip, so I tried not to eye the merch too much. I will say I did get away with a toothless pin, and that's it actually, because I was trying to save money. And it was, I wouldn't say, at least in my opinion, it wasn't the most amazing merch, but I usually say that about Disney merch as well.
That's true.
But I will say they're doing a couple of things right with their merch. First off, Super Nintendo World's merch, they're doing stuff that adds to that immersion factor. Their power-up bands are genius. Yes, they're kind of riffing off of the Magic Band in Disney World, but they've leveled it up. There's games around Mario Kart. There's
more immersion.
Yep, all Super Mario Bros. There, people are running around throwing their against the gold blocks.
That's amazing.
In the line queues, they've got things that they're trying to find the power-ups throughout the line. Lots of genius things there. That's an amazing merchandising opportunity for them, but also interactive. And then in Burke, they've got you can hatch a dragon.
What?
They've got little, like, for little kids, they can go and they're doing a little, like, I didn't totally watch it, but I saw one person starting it, and yeah, they like hatch a little egg, and then I saw lots of kids walking around with like their hatched little dragon egg.
That's so
with like a little tiny dragon, and they don't know what dragon they're gonna get. It's kind of like
like a mystery.
Yep,
like,
it's kind of
roll the dice.
Dragon chooses you situation.
Because the thing that my brain does, I don't know if yours does this, but my brain always thinks of like solutions for these things, right? So one of my things that I think they should do in Black Spire Outpost, which Disney's Black Spire Outpost has a couple of really cool things going for them. Stop zooming in on me!
It's really trying to help you out here.
No!
Technology doesn't trust my brother's videography skills.
Anyway, so in Star Wars Land, they have the two experiences that I think are some of the coolest ones in
Theme parks.
In the whole theme park. It's where you build your lightsaber and you can build a droid.
Yes.
Right? And I've been telling people, there's also another experience that a lot of people know about. I think most like the Disney adults know about this, but it's called the Bippity Boppity Boutique.
Yes.
Which is like, you basically take your girl or whoever to get dolled up as a princess, and it's amazing. I did it with my girl, with my oldest, and she had like the most amazing time. And the rest of the day at the park, she was just this amazing little princess. Expensive as crap, but it was it's amazing to see like your like little girl body. But one of the things I was thinking for the Star Wars line that I think would be so cool is if they did it in Mandalorian Armory, where it's like kind of the same idea, where it's like the Bippity Boppity Boutique, where you're becoming the Mandalorian. And like they have the whole thing in the Mandalorian now, where it's like you put on the helmet and you take the vow and stuff. Like building your droid is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like,
I mean, you ask so many people who are going to Disney World, what are you most excited about? I'm building a lightsaber.
Building a lightsaber.
It's my birthday. I'm building a lightsaber. I'm splurging this trip, building a lightsaber.
I want to see more of that. So I love that Epic Universe is like kind of jumping on that with the Hatchet Dragon. That was genius. Like that's a genius move on their part. So let's go to the other part. What about food? How did Epic Universe do with food?
Mixed reviews.
Okay.
My thing is theme park food is always overpriced and never amazing.
I call it good for Disney food.
Good for Disney food. Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. Because most theme parks, I mean, you're already walking, my Disney day, I hit 31,000 steps. And so you're walking that much, it's hot, and you're tired, and sometimes food just doesn't taste good to begin with, especially hot food. And most food at the parks is hot. So I think Epic Universe, similar things, but I mean, they're doing great on the theming. I think that like the mac and cheese with little goldfish cone at Burke, that's amazing. Donkey Kong has tons of like banana floats and like crazy ice cream things. I mean, you can't beat the butterbeer in Harry Potter World. That's nothing new, but that's perfect from the movie. It's so good. It's so refreshing, especially in that Florida heat. So like, I can't say it's amazing. I mean, Disney, Epcot in particular, that is one of Epcot's draws is the food. So I would say, as far as theme park food goes, it's better than a Six Flags, but I'd say it's about in line with Disney. Okay. And we haven't even touched on their Harry Potter World. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I didn't get to ride the ride. The ride was closed the day I was there for previews.
The one that's like through the ministry.
But I did get to go in the line for it. And someone told me, you'd have to fact check me, someone says it's the $1 billion queue. It cost them $1 billion to build that queue. It was
because it goes through like the Ministry
of Magic. It goes through the Ministry of Magic.
Oh,
I got to walk through the Floo. Like, it genuinely looks like you are going in the Floo. It was awesome. And I've actually been to the Harry Potter set in the United Kingdom for the Ministry of Magic. They have a small part of it still up at Warner Bros. That Paris Immersion, because they've gone for the Paris look for this Harry Potter section. And it is very, very authentic.
Wait, why Paris?
Well, Fantastic Beasts. They were going for more of a Fantastic Beasts look in this park, and so they went for the Paris wizarding side, and it was very, very impressive, very immersive. I was showing a video to one of our cousins who went to Paris a couple of months ago, I think, but she was looking at it and she was like, "Yeah, that's realistic. That's accurate." Cool. So that was pretty amazing. The coolest thing though, okay, I will say the coolest thing that I got to experience in the Harry Potter land was the show.
The show? What's the show?
They did a Fantastic Beasts circus show. Where followed a little bit of a plot line. I haven't seen the Fantastic Beasts movies in a while, but it followed a little bit of the plot line where Newt Scamander had released all of these animals from a circus, and this evil circus owner was trying to like steal the Fantastic Beasts back to like put back in the show. But real like actors, it felt like you were watching a play for just a half hour. Amazing to escape the heat, but also just magical. The beasts that they had on the stage were absolutely amazing. It was very entertaining and just, again, magical and epic. Like, so awesome. The Lion King show at Disney World is absolutely fantastic. It's like so cute. You get the music, you get some of the storyline. I would say that this would surpass it.
Really?
The acting, just that show for a little bit, it's pretty fantastic. While we're on the show category, the How to Train Your Dragon show. Getting to see Toothless fly out of the ceiling with Hiccup riding him.
That's crazy.
It's insane. And that's amazing. It was definitely a kid's show. The How to Train Your Dragon show was definitely geared towards kids. It was even a little bit of a musical, which I thought was strange for How to Train Your Dragon. But Hiccup and Astrid weren't singing, but kind of there was just some singers there. I don't know. But it was a very cute show for kids. And just seeing those dragons. The dragon tech is unreal.
I feel like
so cool.
There's such a hype for dragons. Like I know, like I'm a big How to Train Your Dragon fan as well, but like I know there's like people outside of How to Train Your Dragon that just love dragons, and it's like cool.
I think you should do one of your How to Train Your Dragon voices.
You do my Hiccup voice, and it's just like
your stoic voice.
You start stoic the boss. No, that's like where I got my Scottish accent, guys. I watched that when I was in 9th grade for the first time, and I was like, "Hey, man, Viking!" Okay, so the one other thing I wanted to ask about with the comparison between the two parks is like lines in general. I noticed this last time I went to Disneyland that they do little to nothing to provide shade to their guests. How has someone not died of heat stroke yet? Like, I don't know. Like you were talking about how they have a lot of like immersive stuff in the lines and stuff like that, but
Did it again.
Stop doing that.
So the big problem with lines in Florida is that Florida heat.
It's humid.
It's very humid, and you're gonna get hot no matter what, unless you are in an active air-conditioned room. It doesn't do a ton for you.
Okay,
I will say, but I did see a lot of stuff before I went where it was people complaining about shade problems at Epic, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna pay attention to that while I'm there, see what I think. I'll be honest, I felt like they were providing shade where they could. In Hiccup's wing gliders, there was definitely like some large pavilion structures. They were trying to make it so they were shading you a little bit. Most of Stardust Racers, fantastic ride, by the way. Absolutely amazing roller coaster. That one was mostly shaded the entire time, but definitely had some expansion for sunshine for those like really long wait times. Because that's the problem, is in any ride, if the line gets long enough, they can't shade the whole thing.
Sure.
They can't shade parts that they don't know if people are ever going to actually have to wait there. For the most part, since I was at a limited capacity in the park, I was getting to wait in those shaded areas, those parts that are air conditioned. But I will say I could definitely see the potential for there to be some very sunburnt people getting on the rides. But trying to keep with that immersive theme, there's only so much they can do.
So after you have been to Epic Universe like one time, like the thing that Disney has going for them and has always had going for them is people just want to go back. How badly do you want to go back?
Oh, I want to go back.
Really?
I want to go. Those rides were amazing. Every time so I started off in Super Nintendo Land. I got early entry in, and so I had to go over there to start. And I was over there. It was amazing. You walk in, and I'm like, oh, I'm in a video game right now. That's cool. Which you would like. I mean, VR and stuff. But anyway, yeah, you walk in, so immersive. As soon as I stepped into Burke, I was like, I don't want to leave. I'll stay here the rest of the day. I'll talk to the twins, I'll meet some dragons, I'll ride these rides. And I just kept going back, like throughout the day. I was just, we'd go ride something else, and I was like, oh, let's go grab lunch at Burke. Let's go back to here. And that is a love for How to Train Your Dragon, but that was also just Universal creating an experience I fell in love with.
Yeah.
And like that's something I want to go back to. And I'd go back like regardless of Burke. I think Nintendo World was really cool. I loved Stardust Racers again. The things they were doing in Celestial Park is amazing. I'd want to go back for some of the things I didn't get to do. But in general, yeah, I'd return 100%.
Interesting. Do you think that will carry on to like the next generation? Because I feel like where Disney is going to be in the biggest trouble is if someone can match them with the nostalgia power that they have and bring that to another park, right? Because like we talked about like kind of at the beginning of this, like the reason Disney is so powerful right now in their parks division is because you got the Disney adults bringing their wannabe Disney kids to these parks that they grew up on. But do you think Epic Universe has a chance of doing that same thing over on what they're doing?
They've got that with Harry Potter. People
That's
are
true.
gonna go back for Harry Potter no matter
is
what.
a powerhouse.
But that is why Island of Adventure is the most visited Universal park down there.
Right.
Because it's got Hogwarts in it. That's where people go to actually see the Hogwarts castle.
They get their wands.
They get their wands.
The butterbeer.
And
like,
while yes, you can do
literally-
that in the other parks, that's the one they want to go to.
Right.
So when people go to Universal and they pick one park, they go to Island of Adventure. But all of a sudden, Epic's got way more stuff for kids to do, all these things, and that's definitely gonna carry them for a while. The thing to think about right now is that Disney is trying to add some stuff to their parks. They've realized this competition, and they are trying to match it, which is good. We like this competition because it keeps our parks
fresh
and
keeps
new,
them
and we
updated and actually
and
experiences
keeps
that you
us
enjoy.
going, spending our money. So Disney's always gonna have this advantage. You have 2 daughters. You're never gonna not want to take a little girl to see the Disney castle, and Universal doesn't have that. But all of a sudden, you've got the Dragon lovers, you've got the Super Nintendo lovers, you've got these people. To some people that I was at least watching, Princess Peach Castle was their castle.
Yeah.
Like they were so stoked. Bowser's castle hut thingy, like everyone was there for it, you know?
I
don't know. It's a castle, but I called it Peach's Castle. But yeah, so Disney's not going anywhere, but their parks, they need some revamping, and the problem is that they're always revamping in the wrong ways. Like they're doing these refurbs. A lot of things in Magic Kingdom right now have scheduled refurbishments or are under refurbishment.
What's a refurbishment?
Like Big Thunder Mountain, they're going through and they're making sure. A refurbishment can mean anything like that. We've got to repaint the walls too. We got to realign the tracks a little bit. It's just basically them going through and making sure the ride is still safe and up to date. And you've got a lot of things in Florida that are pretty run down. Small World in Florida needs some love.
Yep.
Disneyland, Small World, it's wonderful. It's got so much more magic to it.
And it did just get a pretty major refurbishment.
And it did just get a pretty major refurbishment. Those refurbishments need to be a little more long-standing, in my opinion, if that makes sense. If you're gonna close something a refurbishment, when you open it back up, make sure it works. I think about this with Tiana's a little bit too, because Tiana's breaks down a lot.
Does it?
And you had the opportunity to really go through and make sure those ride mechanics were really solid. And that's gonna happen anyway. It is an old ride that they were just rebranding, but you had the opportunity is what I'm saying, you know? With that said, I love Disney, and that's not gonna change anytime soon. And that's not gonna change because of Epic Universe. That's not gonna change, but I am all of a sudden going to I have more of an affection towards the Universal Parks now.
No.
Does that change where I'm spending my money down in Florida? That's kind of the real question.
That, I mean, like my wife and I have talked about it extensively because she's told me like, I want to go to Epic Universe. I'm like, I want to go to the Epic Universe. And it's like, well, but if we go to Florida, no, that is crazy that there's now this cute, crazy competition for like parks now, which again, I think competition is good. Competition is where we get some crazy innovations and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on it. Well, anything else you want to say about Epic Universe or the things you experienced?
It's pretty epic, guys.
Pretty epic. If you guys have any questions about it, put them in the comments, I suppose. We'll see if we can answer some of them. I'm just so curious to see, because I know Disney has a lot of expansions planned. Like they had the whole Disneyland. I was looking into it while I was at Disneyland this last time, like all the expansions they have planned for their Anaheim resorts. And I'm just so curious if they're going to learn from mistakes or if they're just going to keep plowing forward with what they think is best. Because as we've talked about, there are some other people in this world right now who have figured out what people actually want to do, and this is a Disney adult, guys, who is splitting their time.
Oh boy.
I don't know how to end this thing. Bippity boppity boo. Yeah.
Have a magical day or an epic day, depending on which one you like more.
Which side are you guys, Disney or Epic? Vote with your dollar. All right, peace.